Hey, it's Anthony Iannarino here at the Loft, and I am here to give you some news. So I have decided that instead of a New Year's resolution, which I never ever make, I always do it early. If I'm going to do something, your chances of sticking with your New Year's resolution is so bad, don't even do it. Start right now. I'm starting right now by telling you that going forward, I am going to be going back to doing a daily YouTube video. Okay, I did that for a whole year. I think it was 2019. I did it every single day. It was so hard to do. Sometimes I was traveling. Sometimes I was in a meeting and I couldn't do it, and I had to do it late at night. I had to edit these myself. It was awful. But I am committed to doing it again for another full year. So it is not a New Year's resolution because I'm starting right now. So I am 5 days ahead of where a New Year's resolution might sit. So this one for me starts right now. Okay, so I've got a number of things that I want to talk about. And these books right here that you might be able to see, I don't know if you see these or not. So there's this book and this other book and all these books. I wrote these books, which means I had to read those books, but I did write those books. But I read other books. I read other books because other books give me information that I don't have, that if I could find a way to make it actionable, then I could do something better than what I'm doing right now. Okay, so that's what reading is about. What I want you to know is that we live in something that's called the Post-Literate society. Post means not there anymore. Literate means we're reading. We're literate people, so we can do that. And then the society is what we live in right now. I would call our society right now the TikTok society, because I think that's where people go. And let me give you some criticism about this, because I think it's really important for human beings to understand how we capture information and how we share it. Okay, so the first thing that you might want to know is that most of the time, like what you're doing right now, you're listening to me. So you are lean back. You can sit back in your chair. I'm going to deliver all of this to you. You don't have to do any of the work. You don't have to pick up a book. You don't have to try to read all the words. You don't have to try to understand what they mean. All of that's being done for you by me. Okay, so this means you're passive. So in a video, you're having a passive experience where information is just coming into you, but you're not having to do any of the real work except maybe say, I don't know if Iannarino's right or wrong. Like, he could be lying about this. We don't even know if there's such a thing as post-literate society, but I promise you there is. Okay, I also believe you already know that we are in Generation TikTok. That means that we're going to have 20-second videos. So this is like consuming bumper stickers. Like, there's some wisdom in a bumper sticker, right? There's some wisdom, but not a lot of wisdom and not a lot of actionable advice that you could use from a bumper sticker. But that's what TikTok is. And now with Reels on Instagram, that's 20 seconds too. Or YouTube, same thing, the shorts, very short. I've done a bunch of them. I don't really love it. I would rather have a better conversation where more information was exchanged and that information was actionable. That's what we always are looking for here. Okay, you also like podcasts, and so do I. I am an Audible listener, and it is how I retain more information. So I read books, but then I listen to the books because I retain more when I listen. But listening is also lean back. So I'm passive. I'm just listening to the words come in. But for some reason that works for me, and maybe it works for you too. I don't know. I like Andrew Huberman. I like Tim Ferriss. I like a number of really good podcasts. I especially like ones where people are really interesting and have something to say. So I like those sort of things because they're helpful. What I want you to know is that if you don't pick up a book, and if you don't do the reading, and if you don't do the research, you're not going to have an easy time being an insight-based salesperson. So you're going to have to go out and find books, and you're going to have to go out and do research, and you're going to have to do the work to say, I've developed this perspective through these insights, and that's really hard to do if you don't have some way to get help doing that. So let me just stop here for just a second because I want to reset and tell you going forward some of the things that we're doing. Right now, we just started an executive briefing cohort. The reason that we like the executive briefing is because it does 4 things better than anything else. When you sit down across from your client in a first meeting, the first thing that you do when you explain that you're giving them an executive briefing, they feel like they're getting value creation. You're creating value for that client because you're giving them information that they don't know, and it's helping them understand what they need to do in the future. So that's what buyers want you to do. So we do that like this fast, like sit down, boom, start giving them value. Okay, great, they love that. Second thing, they think that you are an expert and an authority, and that means this person actually knows things. They're not asking me, what kind of problems do you have, Iannarino? No, they don't do that. They just go right into this conversation because they're looking at this information that you're giving them, and they think this person knows some things that are useful to me. Okay, great. We like that. That's a good thing to do. The third thing it does is you've already started the why change conversation. Now, if you want to ruin your chances of winning a deal, don't do anything about compelling change and talking about the real root sources of their problems and their pain points, and wait till the end. If you wait till the end, the way that it goes, they're not compelled anymore. You went through the whole conversation, you shared everything, but now you're like, how do I get them to move? Well, you needed to do that earlier. You have to do that very, very early. You start it, and the executive briefing will do that for you better than anything else. And then number 4, very easy to get a second meeting. If you are the kind of salesperson that can create value in the first meeting, when you get to the ask for the second meeting, you're already trusted because you've already shown that you're going to create value, and now I believe that you can do it a second time. That makes it very easy for your client to move forward with you. Okay, now I'm going to go back to books for just a minute, and I will tell you that I did start a book club. It's called the Oneup Book Club, and Oneup means that we know things that our clients don't know, and that if we share them with them, we can help them make better decisions and get better results. If that makes sense to you, just raise your hand. I can't see you, but go ahead and raise your hand anyway. This is my broken hand. It's not really broken, but my typing is so bad, I have to wear this all the time right now. Okay, the Oneup Book Club looks like this. You can pay $10 to be part of it. That's the lowest tier. You can pay $25. That's the second tier. You can pay $50. That's the third tier. You can pay $100 for the fourth tier. Okay, so that's the highest one. That's the one where we're going to spend the most time talking to each other about these books. Now, I can't give you the name of the book that I would want to give you, but if you want to go check out the Oneup Book Club, you can go to www.oneupbookclub.com. You'll see all of the tiers there, and that will let you know what you want to do. Like, I don't care if you do $100. I don't care if you do $10. I just want you to read the books, because if you read the books, these are books that are going to give you insights and a perspective that will allow you to teach your client what they need to know. And if you haven't read any of my emails recently, I will tell you, I bought all kinds of clients' books. I read a book, I thought it was great for them, I would give it to them, and they would take the book and they just stick it back on their shelves. And then about a month later, I'd come back and sit down, and I would see that the book was just covered with dust. Like, they didn't open the book. And I realized, if I want them to know something that's really important to them, I'm going to have to teach it to them myself, because they're not going to open that book. And they don't open those books. I give people books all the time. They don't read the books. They just, Seth Godin told me this, they just put it on their shelf, and they feel like, well, I already solved the problem. Well, you couldn't, because you have to read the book if you're going to solve the problem. If you want to do something like this and read books that are substantial, consequential, perspective changing, This would be a good thing for you to do if you like books. If you hate books, you probably don't want to do this. But if you are an Audible listener, and I am, I tend to retain a lot more information after I read the book and then I listen to it on Audible. And when it's on Audible, I retain a lot more of it. For some reason, I'm an auditory listener and a learner. So that's what works best for me. It doesn't have to be the best thing for you. You might like a Kindle, and you might like to keep your notes in the Kindle. Very easy to do. If you don't want to have to retype all your notes all the time, that's a good way to do it. So I am open to however you would want to do this. But if you're not reading books that are consequential and that are helpful for your clients because you have done the work for them, you're missing part of what you need to be a trusted advisor. If you don't go and do research, if you're not reading books that are consequential, if you're not trying to figure out how is this going to impact my clients, then you can't be a trusted advisor. So the trusted advisor can't be the guy that comes around and goes, "Oh, your business failed? You should have come to me." No, you should have come to me first and told me, "Hey, don't do that. You're going to get hurt." That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be that person where we know what's going around the corner. We know what the future is going to look like. We have a good idea. I'll give you a good idea right now. 78 million baby boomers are now going into retirement, and this year and last year are the years where most of them are going to start retiring. It's 10,000 a day right now. What's going to happen is there's going to be a collapsing of demand in the future because 80 million people are not going to be here over the next decade and a half. Okay, so now we have to figure out what are we going to do. We're going to need less sales organizations. We're going to need fewer salespeople. We're going to need better salespeople because the demand will be lower, and that means it's going to be more competitive. And the people that are not competitive and haven't done something like eat their lunch, if they don't understand how to displace their competitors, they're going to have a very difficult time surviving because there will be not enough for everybody to have what they need to be able to reach their goals. That is where we are. For the next 2 decades, we only have 1.66 babies per woman who has a baby. We need 2.2 just to replace people that are dying right now. We're already behind about 25%, and that means that we're in deep trouble in the future. Okay, so I'm telling you that not because I'm negative. I'm not negative. I'm the guy that wrote the Negativity Fast, so I'm just telling you the truth. It's going to get rough, and some of us are going to have to figure out what we need to do to change and get the results that we need. And I'm going to tell you, having an executive briefing will do that for you. And I will also tell you, reading consequential books, substantial books, books that give you insights is going to be very important for you from now until maybe 2050, something like that. Okay, I am back. I've committed to doing this again. I did this for 1 year. I think it was 2019. I did it through the whole year. It was very difficult. I would have to, camera would have to be with me. I'd have to do editing sometimes myself. I'm not good at that. But I have committed to this. So this is not my New Year's resolution because I don't do New Year's resolutions. I'm starting today on the 26th of December. And that means I will see you again tomorrow and do good work. And I'll see you soon.